Welcome everybody to OP Digital Blueprint, Unveiling Success. We are joined by Gina Lever today, which is very nice, and of course our very own Red Redfern. We asked Jean to come on today and have a chat and let us know a little bit more about her, but also unveiling success at the top. She thought was the topic for today, so we're going to let her roll. So away you go, Jean.
Well, thanks so much, Andy. Hi, Red. It's so great to be on here. Hi to Collins in the wings. I think this might be the first time I've ever been on here. Maybe. I'm not sure. I might have been on once before, but no, it's great to be here with you guys. And I have to chuckle that I thought unveiling success was the topic, but it's actually a really good one because I think it's what Ash has been talking to us about. Like we're in this period now of more quiet, and Ash has got the reins on the company, and this is a time for, what Ash has been teaching us all along, this mentoring that he's been doing, since the very, very beginning is so critical, because all success, if you talk about unveiling success, it's all within. So you have to unveil it. You have to pull the surface things away in order to get to the core of it, which is where the success really lives. It's not an outside thing, an external thing. So I was saying that, there could be no success unless it originates on the inside right now. So right now, as we're waiting for things to get rocking and rolling, we can be turning inward and focusing on what it really means to succeed. And for different people, that means different things. So like that might mean a business success, or it might be personal relationship success, or just like a private achievement, maybe a health goal or something like that. So it's different things to different people. I think of success as like a fulfillment, where you have really come into your own, well, you have that sense of freedom, right? And you're feeling fulfilled, like you make a difference in this world, because what's the point of having a lot of money and a lot of time if you're really not making you're not having any kind of positive effect on people. But anyway, that's just something to get it rolling. I thought this is a perfect time for people to really get to the core of what success is. And that's always an inside job. Thanks, Andy.
That's a great start, Jean. That really is. Thank you. And you're right. Success is very different for everybody. With the business side of things, the success on passive is going to come very, very shortly. And a lot of us, certainly the three of us here, are extremely excited by. Because of the fact we know a little bit about what's going on in the background. We know a little bit about the products that are coming out. We know a little bit about what else is out on the market, and we know what difference the products that we've got are going to make. So it's nice, and you're right. Success is different for different people. Some view success in how much money they can earn, and at the end of the day, I think a lot of people view it that way. The nice thing about it is that if you are able to earn good money, is it me that is going ballistic with the? Are we okay? Can you hear me still? Yeah, okay.
I feel like you're going a little pixelated.
Yeah, you're going in and out a bit, Andy.
Am I? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, a lot of people view money as a strong success, but it's what you can then do with it when you do reach that achievement level, the level that you really want. What are your thoughts, Red?
I think it's a really good topic, and obviously Jean's started this success trail. Obviously, it's something that we all personally want to achieve, isn't it? Individually, and as Andy's rightly said, that success is different for everybody. But I think there's a bit of a theme going on here, and obviously, I've been doing in the chair over the last 3 weeks or so, and I was extremely chuffed to have Steve Brocklehurst in the chair today with me. Not only did he speak really well, but he sounds good as well. He said he does a lot of radio stuff, and you can understand why, because he has got a voice for radio, that's for sure. But certainly the underlying theme of what he was saying, and he's got his own business online. He does web consulting and other bits and pieces and incorporated AI into it. But the interesting part, as far as success is concerned, is that without a shadow of a doubt, people's view on success when they first looked at OnPassive or when they first heard about OnPassive was near enough 100% all monetary, right? That's how they viewed what they were looking for on Passive, and that's how they were viewing their success. Is if I'm making a load of money, I've got to be successful, haven't I? You know, that's their mentality, and that's exactly what they were thinking at the time. Now, through interviewing all these people, it really is amazing how, when talking about their OnPassive journey and about what they're trying to achieve, which obviously is success, money side of things doesn't really, is not their first thought anymore. Yes, they want to be looked after. They want to look after their family. They want to look after everything that's going on and all the rest of it. But then their thoughts and process goes to what else they can do, what they can do in the community, helping other people and all the rest of it. Now, my kind of gut feeling is that real success comes from how much you give. Now, I know that sounds Irish, and I know it might sound a little bit bizarre to people, but there is such a feel-good factor that revolves around helping and giving. Then if you are financially okay, then your success is on how much can you help, you know, what you're going to be remembered for, even if it's paying for some benches in your local park, for instance, or a play area, or a kit for a football team, or sponsoring a scouts and guides and all these sort of things. This is real success, in my opinion, that we only need a certain amount of money really to be comfortable. Let's face it. You know, I mean, the likes of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and all the rest of them, they could really afford to live extremely comfortable for the rest of their lives and help so many people if they wanted to. What is there at the moment? There's close to 8 billion people on the planet at the moment. These guys can afford to make every single person on the planet a millionaire, and they're still going to have billions left. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever to have that kind of wealth. Success in my book comes from making sure my family's all right, and then going out to succeed in the community to make a difference. That is real success. And I'm loving hearing people's stories about what they are trying and wanting to do. When OnPassive gets going, obviously the money starts coming in, which it will happen, by the way, guys. Then I think the true success, not only of yourself personally, but also OnPassive, will be truly seen. Back to you, Andy. And you're muted. We can't hear you.
It's probably a good thing, Red. I think it's brilliant. Well said, Red. And I agree. Everybody that I know, certainly within OnPassive, has a different way of being able to help others. Like you said, there's lots of things, whether it be a kit for a football team, a kids football team, or a sponsor a playground. Some of us want to, help the veterans, for instance. I know that's close to your heart as well. For me, I think when we do eventually launch OBless, I think there's going to be an awful lot more of inventors that are going to bring their technology forward and not be frightened because they've got the backing of a huge or massive company now, instead of, you know, as soon as I bring something forward, it gets confiscated, or my life is threatened. That kid, for instance, in Zimbabwe, who created a car that runs on ambient energy and a helicopter and what have you, has been 7 assassination attempts. For God's sake, this is for the betterment of humanity. So again, so what are your ideas, Gene? What do you fancy being able to do? How do you think you
Well, I absolutely love where Red took this conversation, because there's so many different ways. And you, Andy, when you said so many people, everybody has their own unique way they want to help. For me, I have an arts background. I feel like for me to not be free to express myself is painful. So like all the years that I had a corporate job, it was completely counter to who I am as a person. So when I think of inventors, artists, musicians, writers, all of these people, I have this powerful desire in me to make it possible for them to be able to create and to express themselves, because I think it's an important aspect of human life, and that these people serve humanity in that way through their creativity. And so that's why I get so fired up when Ash is talking about the inventors, because I know exactly what you're talking about. And there's many OnPassivians who feel the same way, where there are so many people with great ideas that never got them off the ground because of money, suppression, or outright attack, like you're talking about. And Ash, I know, is equally passionate about making a place for people with all of those different passions, you know, whether they do something through OCademy, or they get on OCONNECT and they do a live music concert, or we've talked about all of these things over the years. And each time he mentioned one of these things, I would get so excited, because never in my wildest dreams did I think, one, I would be in a company like this with a global family, but not one where I get to speak to the CEO, genius, brainiac that is wanting to do all these same things that I've wanted to do since I was probably 9 years old. I never, ever dreamed that was even possible. And that the person that was doing this was such a warm and loving and kind person. You know, it doesn't always go hand in hand to have a genius and a really nice guy. That is a rarity. And I'm not dissing on anybody who's a genius that's a difficult personality, because there's a place for everyone. But to have someone like Ash, who is the embodiment of love in everything he says and does, and also this mind that can conceive of things that are brilliant and also serve humanity. It's just extraordinary to me. And I'm going to steal, Mike Ellis loves that word, extraordinary, because it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. There's just nothing like it. And there just aren't enough good things to say about this guy. Even just to call him this guy sounds sacrilegious almost, you know, because he's got so many beautiful qualities in a single person, and he calls us brother and sister and friend. And that blows my mind.
It's amazing. I've been a financial advisor, as you guys know, for many years, and many years, and I've met many presidents, vice presidents, CEOs, managing directors, etc. And it is an absolute rarity to come across somebody that has the mindset and the thought process that Ash does. Most of, if not nearly all of them, I suppose 99% certainly, have a mindset for their business and nothing else, whereas Ash seems to have a mindset for everyone else as well as the business. And it seems from our point of view that it's us first, then his business, almost. And that is, like you say, heartwarming, but it's exciting that he's that way. As you quite rightly pointed out, there are so many things that could be brought to the surface that could make such a huge difference. I know Chris did an OBless webinar a couple of years ago now, where he had a company on that produced these machines that produced electricity from magnets and also water from the air. So they can even get water out of the air in the desert, this type of scenario. So these sort of things really, really excite me, because, think of it, being able to create electricity for an entire village simply from magnets or ambient energy. It's amazing, isn't it? So, Red, I'm sure you have something to add to that.
Well, I've always got something to add. My viewpoint on this is, let's look at the business world at the moment, and the indoctrination really of how businesses work is a pretty standard procedure, isn't it? Any new business or any existing business is born and bred on one thing only, and that is profit. Right, that is the whole point of having a business, really, is how much money can that business make? Plain and simple. There's no way of getting around that. And everything is geared up for the guys at the top, whether they be the people on the board, directors, shareholders, whatever you want to call them, the ones at the top, they're the ones that make the shitload of money, right? Bar none. Everybody else, guess what? They work for the company, or they might have a few shares for the company, and they might feel good because they're working for a company that might give them a few snippets of money here, there, and everything for working for the company. Along comes Mr. Mufara with this vision of OnPassive, and guess what he says? He says, we're going to change all that. I'm a nice guy. I don't want the money. I've got plenty. Thanks very much. But I want to change how business is done, especially on the internet. We're going to make it value driven, and we're going to make sure that you, the average guy on the street, is the one that succeeds. We're going to set everything up so that you have a fair chance of making it good on the internet. Now, Gene was talking a minute ago about we've got a CEO who we talk to personally, who spends a lot of time with us, hanging out, right? And the one thing that drives him forward is not money, is it? He doesn't even care about the money. The one thing that drives him forward is knowing that we are behind him. Us normal, average day people are behind him, cheering him on to succeed in his vision of what this business is going to do. And what is this business going to do? We're going to produce digital products and services that are available in a single sign-on environment that is going to be beneficial to everybody on the internet. Anybody can join, anybody can use them. The difference is they're all going to be high tech and at a lower cost point and better value for everyone. So why wouldn't everybody want to use it? Well, I can tell you now why so many people won't be using it is because we've got so many people trying to stop us, like Andy and Gene were saying, with the new inventions. OnPassive is a new invention. We are breaking that business mold. We are changing how business is done on the internet. And guess what? All those companies that put profit before people don't like us. They don't like this mold being broken. And that's why we are getting the opposition and the flack that we are getting now. But, and here is the but, we're now a movement. We have thousands, hundreds of thousands of people all behind this company to achieve. We're not one voice, one person anymore. We are huge amounts of people that have the support of our CEO. And this is what drives him forward. Why? Because we know that what he's doing is good. It's not only good for humanity, it's good for business, and it's good for us. So it's win-win-win on all of those three fronts. But one that I will finish with this one thing. When this starts and other businesses see the success of OnPassive, they will want to change their business model as well. Because if you lead with value, if you lead with better for everybody, and you get millions of people coming in because of that, guess what follows all of that? The money. Funny that, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? People come, right, because it's good value, but that in turn brings such a lot of money. And I really do believe that this will be a huge turning point in how business is done online and also offline. Back to you.
I think this is a very, very good point. And so let's have a look at numbers. I mean, let's take Amazon as a good example. Amazon has created 40,000 millionaires over the last 20 years. Now, the idea behind what Ash is achieving is that he will create far more millionaires over a much shorter period of time. So if you've got a company that creates 1 million millionaires in, say, 10 years, you know, that's 40,000 becomes 0.4% of that million. That's ridiculous. You know, it's mind-blowing. So and I think that one of the points that he made, I'm sorry, that's 4%, not 4.4. One of the points he made the other day was that we have over 1 million of us now wanting this. This is an ideology, and you cannot stop an ideology. You know, this is big, guys, and most people still don't get it. And I it's bizarre. What I do find funny though, Red, and I'm sure you've got the same thing. I've now got my friends coming over to me and say, "You're still in this thing? Has it done anything yet? Why are you still in? What can you see?" And the answer is simple. I see something that you can't. And I tell you what, it's when it does go, this is going to be massive. So, what are your thoughts, Jean?
I was just about to jump in because I'm raring after Red and your comment just now is that, like, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the choice point for every single person that, you know, Red was talking about this being a turning point for businesses, seeing the example of us. But right now, it's when you talk about people that are like, are you still in this or whatever? Now is the time where you say you either support Ash or you don't. You're either in this or you don't. You either understand and believe in this vision, or you're going to just stay where you are and never change. It's like you either step in with or jump in with both feet and just rock solid, like some of the people that spoke on Heroes yesterday. Boy, that was so fired up. And just, you can just see the conviction and the certainty. And if people understood the power of certainty, of absolute certainty in an outcome, that it's like it's like this manifesting powerhouse, power tool, right? That if people understood that, they wouldn't be so wiggly and wishy-washy all the time. They wouldn't go back and forth on what they're into. They would be rock solid, like the people on this screen and all the people speaking and sharing their passion about Ash and this company. It's when you understand that it's not even beyond, it's beyond, sorry, I'm having trouble articulating. It's beyond us just wanting to support our friend and this great vision. It's understanding the power of your thoughts and your focus and your certainty about an outcome. And if we have, the more people that do it, the more powerful it is. Like they talk about masterminding with people in business. You get 2 people talking about it or 10 people talking about it. It will manifest more quickly for a million reasons. And we could get really esoteric on that, or we could just be it. When more people are focused on an outcome, they're more likely to take the actions. It's more like, you know, you could look at it from just that standpoint. But if you have 1 million people steadfastly focused on a positive outcome for everybody involved, for a single product, for a person, whatever it is, all of the above, when you have 1 million people doing that, there is no stopping it. Absolutely no stopping it, even beyond the movement aspect, that human soul connection aspect. It's just from a purely business aspect. You know, if we're all focused on a positive outcome, there is no way we won't achieve it, especially if we never ever give up on it. And I'm not giving up. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not. It's in our hands. It's not even a figment. It's just boom, right there, solid.
Absolutely. He made a couple of very good points the other day that I took on board, and I hadn't really thought about before. But if you think about a negative thought, it takes 48 hours to get rid of that negative thought. And I've had several people send me things that I'm not even interested in looking at it, and I just go back and say, look, you know, what was interesting is they took a group of, and this, I'm going to come to my point in a minute, but I'm going to take a long-winded way of getting there. They took a group of monks, practicing monks from Tibet, and they put them in Washington, in a church in Washington, and they prayed for the weekend. What did it do for the community? Now, Washington is one of the worst crime areas in the States. The gun crime and the murders for the weekend dropped by 75%. Now, this is the power of positive thought. So why would you think about a negative thought and then take 48 hours to get over it? I never understood that. That's why you'll always see me with a smile on my face. At the end of the day, positivity is everything. And like Jean quite rightly said, we have over 1 million of us, and the more of us that think about this positivity, it creates this system that cannot be stopped and will not be stopped. Yeah. I think the other point that Ash made that really intrigued me, and I had to laugh, I'll be honest, because, you know, I still know of an awful lot of people that do this, but why would you follow a loser? Why would you follow a loser? At the end of the day, if they have had no track record whatsoever, and they're chucking out garbage as well, why would you follow them? Why wouldn't you follow somebody who has done this before, who has created wealth for companies before, as Ash has done, and obviously wealth for himself? Why would you not follow him and not somebody that's negative all the time? I just, unless you want to be negative, that's fine, you can carry on, but just don't bring it to us. We're not interested. Over to you, Red.
There's the unmute button. I knew it was there somewhere. Yeah, it is. Obviously, you know, what we're all on the same page here, really, aren't we, of what we're talking about? And, you know, I don't think there's any different. And, you know, you were saying earlier, Andy, about people coming to you and saying, we're still here, have you earned any money yet? Blah, blah, blah. They're all the normal questions. And I've been reading the chat a lot, by the way, and Mr. Odit has been writing some fantastic things. And Minnow put a very good point in there, and she said, just imagine what it's going to be like when there's millions more who come into OnPassive, what that movement is going to be like. And that is a very true statement, isn't it? Is that you have to start somewhere. With any movement, you have to start in a place. You know, obviously it is the guy who's in charge, I suppose, who's teaching, that starts that momentum going. And then you have the believers and the non-believers. We are the believers. That's why we're on board. This is why we're still here. This is why we want to see it through, because why wouldn't you want to see something good to its finale? It doesn't make any sense, does it, to join something that you believe in, and because it's not going to your time frame or how you want it, you bin it, but you're not prepared to see it through to the end. It just, for me, doesn't make any sense. You know, and I'm sure hundreds of thousands and millions others want to see this through, because we know what is going to be at the end of that tunnel. Now, the movement of OnPassive at the moment, I personally believe, with all of the ups and downs, and more so now than ever has been, because we have we've had a bigger peek behind those curtains. Our CEO has certainly opened up a little bit more about the trials and tribulations of what's going on. The solidarity that he now has is greater and better than it ever has been since it started in 6 years, without a shadow of a doubt. Why? Because we believe in what is trying to be done, and we want to be steadfast, unshaken behind our CEO, because he's given us the warts and all scenario, which he has done. We are even more behind him than we ever have done, because we understand even more of what he's been going through. And this solidifies our belief in the first place of what and why we are here and believing in OnPassive. So for me, everything's good. Time-wise, who knows? I have no idea. But one thing I do know is it will be done. And that for me is the main thing. Steve Brocklehurst said exactly the same on the chair today. If it takes 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, it doesn't matter, because it is going to be done. And when it's done, you'll be thankful that you stood and stick with OnPassive. Back to you.
Thanks, Red. Yeah, I think, you know, we've got someone doing something that we can't do, but he's bringing us along for the journey. And I spoke about regret the other day, because I bet there are going to be an awful lot of people that regret that they haven't taken the journey that we have over the last 4 years. They're just going to get in, and yeah, they're going to earn some money out of it, and they're going to do okay, but they haven't seen or been part of this, seen the growth, seen what's going on, seen, you know, be part of this journey. And I think that's a shame. And I think there's going to be an awful lot of people that will regret having not got in sooner. Jean, any thoughts, any further thoughts you'd like to add?
Sure. Well, to what Red was talking about, we, even beyond the success that OnPassive is obviously going to have, we got to play a part in what we're seeing now. Right. So right now, OCONNECT is not available. Right. But we're seeing other companies that have been watching us improving their products. Now, we could look at that as a negative, but Ash has always said he wanted other businesses to follow our model, to give better value to their customers. So the ripple effect of that is already happening, and it's not going to hurt us at all. Our success is just guaranteed. It's a done deal. It's going to happen, and is so widespread and broad. You know, the companies I'm talking about are like kind of one product wonders, you know? So if they're improving their single products, that's great. It's great for their customers. It's great for humanity. They're getting better value, all of that. So when the fact that we got to play a part in improving not just OnPassive or being part of building it, but in also affecting positive change in all these other companies, which is one of Ash's goals from the very beginning. So I feel like the success has already been happening again and again and again with the relationships, the family that we formed, with the positive effect that we're having on existing businesses. Even though we feel, you know, people might be a little hesitant, you know, saying, oh, but those were our ideas. In the end of the day, it's like copywriting a song. People always used to say, Gene, you should copyright all your songs and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, they can't take away the creativity which is within me. They can copy a song and do something with it, but they can't. So the people, these companies cannot replicate Ash's heart, cannot replicate his brain. So they could steal every existing idea right now, and it doesn't matter, because the source of that is among us, is with us, and we're part of it. We are part of that think tank, and our feedback is valuable. So that's like probably like a whole other topic, but I just say that makes me so excited to know that we were part of the building positive success in companies that don't even know we had a hand in it. You know what I mean? I just think that's awesome. It's very, very fulfilling.
It is, Jean. You're right.
Fired up, people.
Absolutely, and you're quite right. We're starting to see some of the other companies create or try to replicate some of the ideas that Ash has put into some of the products, and I find that amusing because it's all a little too late. You know, it's like, well, why didn't you come up with that in the first place? And we've mentioned this before. You know, about a lot of the big boys. When we get to the point where OCONNECT is you know, relaunched, many customers with some of the others are going to ask questions as to why were we charged so much before to use something that was actually inferior? Because one of the big boys has an awful lot of issues with security, for instance. You know, and you've had governments use this company for their meetings, and you go, really? But yeah, I love those points, Gene. Thank you for that. Red, what would you like to finish off with, my friend?
As Gene said, why aren't companies using and doing what we're doing is definitely another topic for sure. And obviously we can talk about that at length for sure. What do I want to finish with? I want to finish with, if you know, you know.
Well said. Well said. Gene, any further comments that you'd like to add before we go?
Just a big thank you, Andy and Red, for having me on today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene, for coming. You're extremely eloquent in comparison to Red and I. So it's nice to have somebody that, well, all right, me.
Red's like, speak for yourself, Andy.
She can use words of 5 syllables instead of 4.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you all got something out of today, and we look forward to seeing everybody on Sunday. And obviously, don't forget, Reds, when are you next in the chair, and who are you with, Red?
Tomorrow is part 2 of Comfort Comfort.
Part 2. Wow.
Yeah, and the reason is because, man, she's a firecracker and she had so much to say. And I want to keep it short. I don't want it to run more than half an hour. So, yeah, she's back in the chair tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And then Thursday, we got Narelle Walk-On, and the FISO is on Friday. So that'll be fantastic.
Fantastic. And we've got OP360 tomorrow at 2 at the moment. Yeah?
OP360. At the moment, it's still 2 o'clock. Obviously, things might change. We'll see.
US time, yeah. Okay. And don't forget, people, we have Heroes on a Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. UK. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you again very soon.